Hi everybody, my name is Dominic. I'm an English language coach and communications mentor. I have a confession. I hate public speaking. I can do it. I have done it. I have at times done it very well. At times I have just gotten by, but it's never really been an important part of my professional life for me. Although occasions do turn up. In my sort of hobbies and interests, there have been times I hosted a film night, which was involved talking in front of two or three hundred people a night for quite a while. But that was driven by personal interests and my interest in film. If you if you struggle with public speaking, there are definite ways to overcome it. The bottom line is practice. But when I say practice, I don't mean practice necessarily in front of an audience, but there is practice in terms of preparing, working with someone like myself, where we go through the processes involved. We look at some of the reasons why you personally feel it difficult to speak in front of other people. You're scared of ridicule, you're scared that you're going to sound stupid, you think your accent makes you impossible to understand. There are lots of sort of personal reasons. And professionally you may be under pressure because you have to speak in front of colleagues, um, and give a clear understanding of what you're saying, and perhaps inspire people, guide people, lead people. And that's difficult. That's a lot of pressure. For some people it comes quite naturally, but if you're perhaps an introvert, I'm mostly an introvert, I think, um, then it can be a real challenge. But there are ways to do that, to overcome that. The most important thing is to work out what you need to say and why you need to say it. And that is the key. And then if we rehearse those ideas, I won't be able to give you perhaps knowledge on the technical aspects of what it is that you do, but I will be able to give you critical or a critique, a feedback on how you're saying things and how you're delivering your message. And I'll do that in a way that makes you feel more in control, more confident. I can help you observe what you're saying and how you're saying it. Maybe comment on things like the speed, maybe the vocabulary. What I often find is students who have to give a presentation tend to choose language that is actually quite complicated, um, and it might use language they stumble over, and they struggle to say. So what we would do is we would go through, say a draft of the presentation, and then reword it, not for content, but to enable you to say it more clearly and to feel more at home with it. We're not looking for a masterpiece to go down in history, but we are looking for something where you feel connected to what you are saying, so your passion and interest can come through. Another way we do that, and a process that I'm learning by putting myself on Instagram, is to record, is to say what I need to say and then to watch it and to give some sort of critical appraisal. My technique here is actually just to speak rather than to analyze, reanalyze, and go over. Because what I want to do is I don't want to be perfect. I don't want to come across as somebody who's extremely polished and rehearsed, because communicating is not about that. Communicating is about being authentic and being honest to yourself and then honest to whichever subject you are speaking. We look at speed, pace, language, a little bit of the psychology behind it. And so the next time you go out and you need to speak, you're a little bit better, you're a little bit more confident. And then we reappraise and we go through that process again. I've had some fantastic success stories, I'm very happy to say. Um, a very senior director of a property firm had to face a hostile audience in Saudi. There were some problems with the development they had finished. It was a very high-end development, a very expensive development, and quite rightly, the people who bought into it were not happy. And so we went through strategies for him to be able to handle a hostile audience, to be able to um, diffuse a lot of the tension that was there, and then to be able to feed back to that audience what they needed to hear, what he needed to tell them, and for that to be authentic. And it went incredibly well for him. The glory is on him, but I would like to hope that I was sort of part of that process in preparing him for it. And just to quickly say, and I did that often by asking very hostile questions and then forcing him to answer, and then we would unpack his answer and consider how he might have said that in a different way. So by the time we'd been through that process alone, he was prepared, more prepared to meet the, the hostile audience. So if you think I might be able to help you with your challenges in public speaking, then DM me, get in touch, and we'll see what we can do.